My name is Stuart Cohn, and this is the Ask Stuart Hour. If you are visitors here, I'm very, very grateful that you've come. Give it a shot. And like I said, if you need to go and take a call because it's a big sale or it's an important client, or if the kids are on the phone, I forgot my lunch. Bring my lunch to school. Do what you got to do. But I'm so glad you're here. We're going to maximize our hour together. And basically, the slide you're looking at is the only slide you're going to see. I'm not going to change it. So the whole idea is you can either be active or not. It's up to you. Ask me anything you want. Now, the focus of this is typically groups, because I do this for my boot campers every other week. So in addition to all of these online training modules, special report PDFs to help you master groups for your business, your travel business, we do this so it's live business coaching. What's keeping you up at night? What's not working? You got a problem? As long as it's not a medical condition, I might be able to help you. But if it's anything about your travel business or business in general, bring it too. Because I also don't just do business coaching and mentoring for travel businesses only. I do quite a bit here as well in Memphis. And I just returned last night from the ASTA Global Conference. Was anybody there? Did I meet you there? Anybody? It was great. I did a program on leadership. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I want to see what's on your mind. So here's the deal. Go ahead and type in your questions. If you want to make a comment to what I'm talking about or somebody else is talking about, type it in. If you're bold enough, courageous enough, so that we can hear your voice and you want to ask me the question live or make a comment, simply just type in, turn on my mic. And then when I see it, I'll let you know. I'll give you fair warning that I'm going to put your mic on so we can hear you, and then we'll mute your mic again. But I love it when I hear somebody's beautiful voice and we can actually talk. We got a full house going on here, and I see a lot of brand new names. And I'm not going to call out the names here, but you know who you are. And if you'd be so kind just to type in, hey, first timer, that's cool. I'll welcome you here by first name. I know we have some new boot campers too. Melissa, new boot camper, Melissa, you're in the house. Welcome. Who else is new? Mershon, is this your first time on the Ask Stuart Hour? Have you been here before? I don't remember. Hello, Patty. Hello, Sue. Wow, great group. All right, here we go. So here's the deal. I'm going to go over to the question box here and see what else people have typed in. And I'm going to put on my reader glasses because I can't see a thing. I can't read a thing without them. So let's see what we got here. Let's see. We're going to start off with questions. And you'll see, everybody, all our newbies here, things pick up steam. A lot of times, boot campers will send questions in advance. They'll post them in our private Facebook group, and I'll address them right away. Sometimes there's a lot of questions, but I will tell you this, it builds steam where by the end you're going to be like, no, don't go, keep going. But we'll end it on time, I promise. All right, here we go. Hello, Jan's in the house. Sam is here. Good morning. I did not get to meet Sully. Yeah, I did. I spoke yesterday morning. My program on leadership was Wednesday morning. Sully spoke Wednesday night, and guess what Stu did? Stu flew out Wednesday immediately after my gig, and I missed him. And I know, Sam, that Sully, you guys know, Tom Hanks is playing him in a movie now, the famous pilot. Sully would have wanted to meet me. Sully would have wanted to meet me. Now, for all I know, he came to my workshop. I don't know. I had standing room only, Who knows? Gene is here, and Gene has friend Judy with me. Hello, Gene and Judy. Welcome. Very cool. Glad you're here. Dawn just had one of those now, where did I put my coffee moments? It's in my hand. If I let it go, I'll never know where I put it either. Hello, Gene, first timer. That's great. Glad you're here. So here's the deal. Like I said, you can either ask questions and participate, or you can be a fly on the wall, listen, watch, and listen to everybody else's problems. But it's cool if you guys want to participate. For third in a row, Mershon has been here third in a row. Awesome. Yay. Capital Y-A-Y. Smiley face. Terrific. All right. I don't see questions here, but get ready. I want you to bring it. Give me your good stuff. And I put on Facebook today, I said, Stump Stu. Go ahead and stump Stu if you got a dilemma. And it's, if I can't answer the question, I promise I'll get answers. But I love hearing what your challenges are doing groups. I love to hear what your successes are. And one of the things that I like to focus on is We got to stop doing things the same old way. We've got to come up with new methods. This morning, before I shut my phone off to be with you so we're uninterrupted, I got a phone call. And who was it? It was Hilton Hotels. So here I am thinking, it's a speaking gig. Hilton Hotels wants me to do some leadership training, some group training, some sales, whatever. It was not. Do you really think they wanted to buy something from me? No, they were selling me vacation time. And and I was preparing here, so I said, hey, listen, I try not to be rude unless it's a robocall. I said, excuse me, I gotta go. I'm not interested. Thank you, gotta go. But when was the last time you took a vacation? They're good. They're good. I'm not suggesting you get into that business. That's a tough, tough business, but I didn't buy anything. What I should have done was sold something. That's if I had time, well, that's what I would have done. You guys ever do that? You get a phone call from a live person, say, I'll tell you what, I'll buy what you got if you buy what I got. What do you got? Well, where do you want to go? Where have you never been? That's on your list. Want to go to Africa? Want to go to Europe? Want to take a river cruise? I'll buy what you got if you buy what I got. That'll get them off the phone fast. Or you'll get a brand new client. All right, here we go. We got our first question, and it's from Melissa. Thank you, Melissa. Hi, Stuart. I was approached to put together a group for a small group. I finished putting together the flyer with a sale date 2 weeks after the group leader received it. Problem was that the cruise company started a reduced deposit sale the next morning. Everyone wanted to rush and get in for the reduced deposit sale. I was trying to avoid chaos with the advanced planning, and now, argh! How do you handle situations like this? This is a great thing, Melissa, because sometimes the best plans don't go as we planned. In fact, I believe we have to count on things going. There's always something that's going to go wrong or not to plan. And what it sounds like, Melissa, you were trying to do was the group launch sequence. Now, everybody who doesn't know what that is, it's in boot camp. Group launch sequence is something I invented, although I don't hold a patent on it. That would be cool, but I don't. Because basically, I kind of flipped the way you guys have been launching groups. The situation is you have a great group leader, great concept, everybody's ready, they're excited, great opportunity here, everything is all systems go, and then you rush, you get the prices out, you get the flyers out, and nobody calls. Hello, where are you? You said you wanted to go. Well, what's happening is, you were all excited. Everybody says they're excited, but all they did was they looked at the price, they looked at the number, and they said, okay, when you buy, we'll go. And what they're saying is, well, when you buy, we'll go. And before you know it, everybody's waiting for the next person to go. Nobody goes. So what do? You start discounting, you start coming up with promotions. So I teach you to do a true product launch, just like a restaurant opening, just like the launch of a new product. Long and short of it is this: you build enormous momentum before you take $1, before you tell them how much the price is. Too long to go into now. If you want me to, I will ask those questions. But it sounds like, Melissa, that's what you want to do. You want to keep it bottled up and contained. And then so what you need to do is, in my humble opinion here, is you got to look at this instead of as a negative. How can we look at this as a positive? How can we take that opportunity, which clearly kind of threw up a wrench into your best laid plans, but at the same time, what I'm hearing, Melissa, is that the consumers found out about it and they were excited, they want to get in on it. So assuming you were able to incorporate that into your contract, because sometimes you can't combine promotions and so forth, that you could offer that you say, okay, now how can you leverage it? Okay, plans have changed. Here we go. Get your whiteboard, get your blackboard, wipe it off, and say we're going to redo the group launch sequence here, and everyone's in a rush to get in it, which is wonderful, which is awesome, but still. You still have to sell the whole product. You still have to sell the whole program. You still have to do the sequence of events as I teach you. The sequence of events, the series of events. So they're not going to pull out, they're not going to cancel, and they're going to be so excited that when you say, okay, we're open for sale, ready to pay the balance, I mean the full payment, and make the hard commitment, they're in. There's no issue. So still do the whole cycle. Now I wonder, Melissa, if one of the problems is that you didn't want to reduce the deposit because you were collecting a little bit more. Your plan was to collect a little more. Remember, everybody, I'm teaching you in group boot camp and in sales in general, because of this thing called the internet, capital I, you can't be caught selling the same stuff that's online as a commodity, because then what you're selling is the stripped down, bare bones, off the shelf product. And that group package, well, it's not even a package, that group, that one cabin on the ship, that room, one room in the hotel is the same as online. And the people are like, I don't need you for that. I'll pick up myself. That's why you got to create the package. Okay, the package. And a lot of times you have to put an upcharge in and your service fee and all the extras you're going to build in. Melissa, are you building in extras? Are you building in a magnificent package? Are you building in the things that everybody in that group would have experienced inconvenience and stress when they got there, saying, geez, I wish I had booked that. I wish I had known. I wish I had made these reservations. Oh, wow, the line is so long to get it now. Why did my agent do it in advance? This is terrible. But you're going to save their lives. You're going to transform them so they come back saying, wow, we did everything. And it's a good thing we got all those things done in advance, because it actually costs us less versus booking it there, so forth and so on. So here's the solution. And I'm going to give you one more bit here. And I'm just assuming, because I can hear you, Melissa, you typed in, which I'm grateful you asked that question, was that even if, let's just make this up, that the cruise line has reduced the deposit to $25, okay, then I would go one of two ways on it, because that's published. Then you just roll with it. But you're going to have to layer in another deposit. So after you do your series of events, your sequence of events, where you're going to give all the details, get everybody totally excited about this, and you haven't revealed the full price yet. I still don't think you should. And make sure that if it's $25, hey, listen, you don't want to go, I'll give you your money back. But yeah, you want the early deposit? That's fine, but you're going to add in one other deposit. Have you guys ever done that? Added in an extra deposit level, second deposit, or third deposit? I know it may sound a little complicated, but that's how then, Melissa, you can put your upcharge in, your surcharge. And my friends, you know, I hate to call it an upcharge. I shouldn't have. Pull it, take it out, take it back. Okay, that's where you're going to charge the fee that covers all the extras you're building in, which would have cost them more, or they would have been left out of if they didn't know it was available. You're saving their lives. So let's say it's 25. So the next you're going to say, after you do a physical events, all right, if you're in, you gave it a 25 deposit, which is great. Second deposit is $200, and I'll take that by check. And you still have 2 weeks to cancel if you don't want to go. I'll give you your money back, but that's by check. So this way, Melissa, you don't have to worry about how you're going to collect these extra fees, because you've built in the excursions. You've built in that special dinner. You've built in the this, that, the other thing, or the cost of you to escort the group. Tell me if that makes sense. Now I'm going to go back and look at the boards, see what we've got going on, see who've made comments, see who's asked questions. There's a lot more here. All right, Dawn, you asked a question too. I'm going to come back to you, Dawn. Melissa said that she booked 8 last night with more to come today, and that's awesome. The fact that, so look at this as a positive. They did you a favor. You just have to redo your collection plan here, but that's all good. Okay, and Lena, I'm going to come back to you. And Will, you had a comment too. That's awesome. And Dawn, you had a question too. So nobody else commented on what I just talked about with Melissa. So I'm going to close that subject out. But if you, Melissa, or anybody else has anything to add to it, you'll let me know. I'm going to give you an example, if I might, my friends. You know, I was in Reno, which it's beautiful there, but I wish I had more time to explore. And I walked into my room where I was doing my gig, got there super early, and it was a really weird setup. It was a very skinny, long room. So you'd think, okay, even still, I'd be at the head, one end, and the seat would be behind. No, I was positioned in the middle, facing the wall, which was right here, and the seats were, sort of faced me. But if you were on the outside, all the way to the left or to the right, you were looking forward. You had to go, hello. It was just a really weird setup. Now, at that moment, I had to make a choice. I could either stamp my feet, cry like a baby, and go, no, that's not conducive for good learning. That's weird. How am I going to talk? How are they going to see the slides? Because this was on leadership. This was a slide-intensive presentation. I walked in, I smiled, because you know why? I'm a professional. You're a professional. I'm a professional, and I'm going to handle it. I'm going to deal with it, because I know when I do a speaking gig, whether it's for 50 people, 500 people, or 3,000 people, there's always going to be something weird, something unexpected. So if I walk in expecting the unexpected, you deal with it, you change your game plan, and you make it work, and you never let them see a sweat. And Melissa, and for all of you guys, when somebody else changes the game plan, the cruise line, the hotel company, then you got to take a step back, and instead of wasting negative energy saying, rah, 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 you roll with it, man. How can I leverage this? How can I build on this? My window's open, so you probably hear the garbage truck. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm going to go back to the, okay, so Melissa, I do hope that helped. All right, now here's Dawn's question. I'm still having an issue with figuring out how to accept payment for FIT promotional group involving motor coach. Okay, as we've determined, sorry if you could hear that garbage can, it is so loud. We finally have cool, gorgeous weather here in Memphis, no humidity, opened up the windows, and you got the truck. That's all right. So I'm still having an issue with figuring out how to accept payment for FIT promotional group involving a motor coach. As we've determined in previous webinars, Square and PayPal frown on travel tour providers, right? Collecting money for a travel product because it's high risk in their eyes. And it's nearly impossible to get other merchant services, other credit card merchant accounts. And for you visitors who are here as my guest for the first time, this is definitely a big issue. And if you have a solution, if you found an answer, or if you have the same issue, let me know, share with us, because it's tough. Because I'm teaching you, you do not want to sell a stripped down, off-the-shelf, bare-bone product, or then you're no good. Then the internet and the other 50,000 places they can book the same product. How do you do it? How do you collect it? Now, we've talked about this at length on so many of these webinars, and I've given lots of ideas, and you guys have shared. I think the potential income in this particular group is not worth my time, and I'm probably going to decline this client. Still need to find suppliers that allow for the add-on and accept the credit card for us. Thank you, Dawn, for sharing that. I want to listen, everybody. I want you to hear these words. I think the potential income on this particular group is not worth my time. Friends, a former very successful travel agency owner used to use this expression all the time. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Is the juice worth the squeeze? If you go with your gut. In business and in life, I go with my gut. Some of us have this gift of intuition. We can't see into the future, but we visualize, we think, we can roll a situation forward and try to determine, is this going to be good for me or bad for me? And Dawn here is she just exposed something that's going on inside that gut feeling, right, Dawn? You're not feeling it. And at the end of the day, my friends, if you have an opportunity and you got that gut feeling, you sit down with pencil and paper, your calculator, an Excel spreadsheet, and you figure it out. What's the upside? What's the downside? Calculating the time you're going to put against it. Calculating the time then you'd be taking away from your other clients, your other pressing business matters. It's not easy. Pay attention. Move up, move up, move up, move up. It's not easy to say no to business. It's not easy to say no to business, but you need to. You have to. Because the worst thing in the world is regretting when you get a job or in your case, travel professionals, and you're like, oh, why did I do this? Because it not only affects I mean, you may not be making money on that, but it's a distraction from other more important things, especially the clients you love, the products you love, where you are making money. It's a distraction. And it's wonderful when we have that opportunity to say yes or no. I just got a call last week. Hi, can we do some one-on-one coaching? And I said, thank you. I'm grateful. I'm flattered, but I cannot. I can't. It wouldn't be fair to you. Wouldn't be fair to me. And I don't. I'm traveling every week and a half. I'm traveling, and you got a million things. This is between you and I'm telling you. Sometimes we have to say no. And one other thing I want to give to you, Dawn, and everybody else, I'm going to keep going here. There's a lot of stuff being typed in, which is if you can't make a decision, and if you've done the numbers, always go back to the numbers as that foundation. Certainly bounce it off of friends and mentors, because sometimes they'll give you a different perspective and say, well, wait a minute, what if? But how if you did it this way? Why don't you pass on it? Why don't you do it because it's got legs? Look at it as a holistic, as a bigger opportunity by saying yes. Get through this and look at what it could, there could be future opportunities. Spend a 24-hour period of time. This is a life coaching lesson here. Tell me if you do this. Spend 24 hours living as if you had said yes. And then the next day, the next 24 hours, live that day as if you had said no. And see how you feel. See how you feel. It's an interesting way to decision making, but I also, do hope when it comes to business, you make the decision at the end of the day based on the numbers. Okay, Lita says, I am changing my niche and need different kinds of clients. I'm thinking about starting to do something, some events, cruise nights, etc. Can you recommend some locations to host that will not cost a fortune? Try the library, but not an option. Okay, so Lena is on a new mission, and I applaud you. You're changing. You're shaking it up. You're following what I hope, Lena, is going to be your passion, what I also call your love circle, your love circle. You're going to do less of the things or none of the things outside your love circle and more of the things inside. So to you, instead of TGIF, and that's okay, but it's also TGIM. You look more forward to coming to work. You love what you do. Love the products you're selling, the suppliers you're dealing with, and the people, and the income. Okay, so how do you, so she's looking here for events, to host events. And you guys, if you have feedback, go ahead and give it up here. And I'm going to go through and see what you guys are saying. Libraries, I would also suggest that Panera, there are some Panera Breads have rooms where you can close the doors and they don't charge a fee. You just have to sign it out. Whole Food, hang on, I'm going to keep going. We've got a new Whole Food right here in Germantown, Tennessee, and they have an upstairs, and you can sign it out. It's free. That's perfect. So if the library doesn't work out, you should check with if you have community centers. We have the Germantown Community Center. We have the JCC, the Jewish Community Center. And especially if you could sort of make a deal with them and say, hi, I'm going to come give information. I'm going to do a presentation to give free information. I'm going to help people. I can help your members. Maybe they won't charge a fee. Maybe they'll promote your event, Lena. Just make sure it's all in sync. Make sure the people you want to talk to are the same people that are on their list too, that would potentially come to your event. So be in alignment. If you have an office at home or your business, take a walk around the neighborhood, take a drive around. We have I went to an event. My bank invited Kimberly and I to an event at one of those olive oil places. I don't remember the name of it. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I won't waste your time because you probably thought of it before I did. And it was after hours, and it was a private event. It was awesome. And the proprietor was more than happy to give up that space because part of the deal was he got to talk about his olive oil and his vinegars. and I made a purchase. Other people were purchasing. And the bank, they were able to do a little talk too, you see. So where do you have a synergy, whether it's another retailer or a building that's got meeting facilities, that there's some commonality where it could be perhaps a strategic partner. Will also help you get more people to come. A good location too. Have you ever thought of doing it outside when this beautiful weather? How about at your home in the backyard? How about at a park? So those are just a few ideas. We could be here all day talking about it, but that's what I suggest you do. And I really and truly, now I'm really stuck on this concept of working with other local businesses who also want to bring more people into their shop. You see, they'd be delighted to have more people in. So together, if you're talking about the same type of person that you're looking for, or you can help, maybe you got a nice deal going here. Will says, hey, Stuart, I had a local event this weekend. Cool. And after listening to the last call where this topic came up, I went out and got a poster that explained what I did, and I put that in front of my tent. Oh, that's right, because we talked about expo, how do you set up for trade shows and things like that. I always use a banner, but this poster made all the difference. I had a few less people coming into my tent, but those that did were ready to book. Thanks for the suggestions on the last call. You're welcome, Will. And I'm glad that worked out for you. So here's the deal. On our last call, we talked about how do you set up a booth? How do you work one of these trade shows or an exposition where you have an opportunity to display? How do you get the people to come in and talk to you? But so what Will did again, he actually made a poster. So go in, invest a couple of bucks, my friends. Make a poster and tell people what you're doing. Be specific. What you want to do is give them enough so they're like, I want more. Give me more. I want information. And you have to, right, Will? You just have to have that conversation with the person. They need to want to meet you. They need to want to meet you. You could put candies in a bowl. You could put another fish bowl to collect business cards. But they're going to take the candy or take your freebies or your pens and walk away. You got a nice big fat sign that will takes 3 seconds for somebody to read before they walk on by and says, hey, hon, we got to meet this guy. We got to meet that gal. They've got something that we need. So I'm glad that worked for you, Will. Thanks for sharing. Dawn says, what group travel type would you suggest we stay away from? What group travel types would you suggest we stay away from? Whoa, boy, this would be a fun poll to do, to find out what are the scariest, highest risk groups. Because I'm sure agents who've been in the business for a couple of years could have plenty of stories to share about groups they did that failed miserably. And I will tell you this right now after I sip my coffee. I would say that the number one would be an athlete, a big athlete. Because I've seen a lot of agencies do programs around athletes or celebrities for that matter, but specifically sports, and it fails miserably. A lot of times, you'll never get to talk to that sports person. A lot of times, they're just getting paid. They just want to know that they're showing up. It's a gig for them. They don't have a vested interest. So basically, Dawn, and if you're building an affinity group around somebody whose presence is required, but they will have nothing to do with promoting the event, they will not get the word out, even though they may have a bazillion fans. They don't care. They just want their $50,000 for showing up or whatever, and the freebie for their family. Then you don't want it. It's not going to work, because then then it's on you to get the word out. But if they have skin in the game, if it's a fundraiser, if they're a strategic partner with you, and they want to see it be successful as well, they will get the word out via Twitter. They will get the word out on Facebook, on Instagram, or whatever, and they will get all their friends, family to come too. You got a winner. So any group where the group leader, where it's around a person, and really, the other thing, and this is what I think the nature of your question, Dawn, is because you say group travel types. I don't know if it's destination, but I'm going more with just general. Okay, is it really comes down to the affinity. You know, you guys were in boot camp. You know, in week 1, I give you the group viability test, and I'll tell you what. For if you're a visitor today, as a thank you, and I'll tell you why I'm doing this. If you're a visitor today, first of all, I'm very grateful if you came in and you didn't hear my top of the hour greeting, but just send me an email, and I'm not going to add you to any list. But send me an email and ask for a copy of this group viability test. It's in boot camp. You do not want to take on a group without doing the test. Do the test. I will save your life. I will save you money. I will save you time. And I will save those other customers who you would have scared off because they wouldn't have been able to find you, talk to you, get a hold of you, because you're going to get sucked into a dead zone of a group that's going to fail. I'm going to help you know when to say no. Know before you go, before you fall into quicksand, before you fall into a trap. It's called a group viability test, and I've used it for years. And if it all 10, if you can't give a check mark, you walk away. You let it be somebody else's nightmare. Say it again. Let it be somebody else's nightmare. It could be one of the most important documents in boot camp. So just send me an email, Stuart@stuartloydcohen.com. That's my email address. Or text me. Text me, area code 631-877-9080. 631-877-9080 if you want that document. And here's the deal. Why did I give you my cell phone number? Why? Because I'm showing you that I'm available to you. I'm accessible. Are you giving your cell phone number to your clients? I give out my cell phone number when I'm on stage. When I was in San Diego a couple of weeks ago, the audience of about 500 people, I gave out my cell phone number just to prove that I'm going to be available to you. Go ahead, ask a question, make a comment. What do you want? Go ahead. And I got 3, and I got no abuse at all. You know, we're afraid of giving out that number because it's going to be abusive from clients. No, they were blown away. They're like, really? Yeah. And number 2, what I said before is the reason why I'm going to give you that free document is because one of the ways to make friends, to build your list, and hey, listen, maybe you're going to want to come in a boot camp. I'm not here to sell you on it today, but if you do, one way to get you interested, to say, hey, this guy Stuart's all right. He's cool. He's groovy. He's giving out free stuff. He invited me to this thing free, which he charges money for. You be generous. Don't focus, my friends, on going out, finding a group, going out and selling. No, your mission in life is to simply build your list. Build your list. So some of you who are brand new, they ask Stuart out for the first time, they're like, no, I'm not ready to bang $600 because I don't know if I like this guy yet. What's not to love? I mean, come on. But who knows, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months down the road. And what I'm giving you this document, and agents, do this. I say this all day long. Build your list. How do you build your list? One way, be generous. Give out free stuff. And you don't have to be a writer or a professional video producer. None of this stuff, man. You guys know stuff that customers don't know, that they need to know. And even if it's stuff they know, you're still validating that information. Whether what the weather is in Spain today, or an average day, how to pack for a river cruise, or things you don't want to miss in Jamaica. You know this stuff. Give it out free. Build your list. And you trigger. If you ever read the book by Jeff Walker called Launch, he talks so much about building your list, because your list is everything. Everything. Okay? First, you have nobody to talk to, nobody to sell to, nobody who needs you. Okay? You build what's called reciprocity. Reciprocity is when you give somebody something, a gift, a little something there, and they like you. They almost feel a slight inclination to want to give something back to you. And I'm not asking anything from you. That's all right. All right, Lita said, are you saying people will pay deposits without knowing the final price? That's a great question. This is going back to Melissa's issue. Will people pay a deposit without knowing the final price? I want to tell you something. It's a great question. I think, Lena, if if people know about and are excited about this ridiculous low price, and number two, they're generally familiar about what's going on, that there's a special event, this group trip, but they don't know much about it. They at least know the date, right? They know the date, they know the ship, or they know the hotel. And it's an affinity, so they know who else would be going. I think if all the basics are in place and the word gets around, then, yeah, with an asterisk, Lena, which is that you need to tell people when they say, well, how much is the whole trip? And you know, I've taught you this in boot camp. Here's what you say. It's part of the group launch secrets. You say, the rates will be finalized on such and such a date. You tell them exactly when the rates will be finalized, which is the end of your group launch sequence, your sequence of events. And it's going to be a day or two before you open for the VIP sale and open for the regular sale, right? You guys know that. So, yeah, and the asterisk is that, and when you tell them the rates will be finalized on October 2nd, and they go, but wait a minute, I'm giving you a deposit, I don't even know what I'm buying yet. You say, don't worry about it. You get your money back. It's $25. You can drop that in Starbucks, getting the kids a bunch of Frappuccinos. I'd give you your money back if you don't like the end up product. So the answer is yes. Listen, my friends, you have to take control. Be confident that they're going to love, they're going to need, they're going to want what you got. And up to that certain point, when you announce the price point there, which will be a day or two before you open for sale, before you take the rest of their money, and that's going to be your second deposit, I'll give you money back. No problem. Make it easy. There's no risk here. Lisa says, sorry I'm late. Loving boot camp. I am at week 3, but just starting so far. It's awesome. Thank you, Lisa. New boot camper. So she's been in for 3 weeks because it's drip content, everybody. It's drip content. That's the way boot camp works. You do not come into boot camp and get overwhelmed like, oh my gosh, I don't know where to start. What do I do? Wow, there's so much. It's called drip content, where it's every week you have access to more information, but you move through at your own pace. So, Lisa, thank you very much. That was a completely unsolicited comment, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're in. Dawn says, I like the staggered deposit and asking for a check for part of it because it resolves the credit card payment problem for the extras. But does it really work in this world of credit card, debit cards? Personally, I always balk at paying by check, and I get that. Some people don't even know how to write a check. Young people don't. They have no idea. So, right. So when you need to collect that extra money, the first thing, and I think we were going to talk about this before, and if you've heard this before a million times, sorry, but this is for the benefit of our new folks in and for our guest visitors. And number one, you want to try to look for a supplier that will take the overpayment, right? Number two, you want to see if you can try to get a first deposit, $100, $200, an even number, so they can't pick it apart, they can't try to figure it out. That's a first deposit, and you can even go ahead and say it goes to an escrow account that you have a shared signature on with the group leader. You know, there's ways of making them feel safe and secure, and signing something saying, look, this $200 deposit by check or cash or Venmo, right? And get it back. Get it back. Show them, you've got to be super, super flexible that they get that money back. The other thing is that if you can try to get away with using PayPal or Square, and I'm not saying break a rule here, but I'm not really a rule follower. I use PayPal all the time, and my ratings are great. I've had one person start a case against me in PayPal. It's because they forgot that on their credit card statement it's going to say SLC ETC. That's my business name. They didn't recognize it. And then they say, oops, oh, sorry. So whatever. And it was cool, Okay, here we go. Let's get out. Let me see how we're doing on time here. We're good. We got 20 minutes left. What is your point of view on prospecting via direct mail with a targeted list or using every door direct via United States Post Office? So Will is talking about prospecting via direct mail. with a targeted list, or the Every Door Direct, which is a program where they deliver it and it's cheaper, sort of a mass mailing thing? Well, I tell you, Will, that's a great question. I actually, years ago, before email, our mailboxes would be filled with junk. And now our inboxes are filled with junk, and we have a little less mail coming through, snail mail coming through, but it still comes. In fact, I used to be in a lot of different businesses, but I had created blankets that I would sell, and I would have to ship them. And I bought some products from Uline. Look at this that I got. You know how many trees had to branches had to go? This book is ridiculous. What do they think I am? Some huge corporation ordering tens of thousands of dollars worth of. Are you nuts? This is it. Wow, I don't need this. I'm going to call them and say, you don't need. If I need you, I know where to find you. So the answer to your question, Will, is yes. You got to do a cost-benefit analysis. How much would it be to do the USPS thing where they just hit everybody? Okay, that might be an interesting first approach. And in your second approach, if you do an A/B test, do you have enough marketing money? If you can co-op this with a partner, with a supplier, do an A/B marketing test to see what works the best. Where's the best ROI? A targeted list. Who's targeting it? Whose database are you buying? Is it qualified? Is that person still alive? How truly targeted is it? Well, it may not be when you buy lists. I'm a bigger believer, though, in strategic partnerships, making a deal with another local business. It's good for you. It's good for me. I'll introduce my people to you. Will you introduce me to your people? Don't sell anything. Just get them on your list. Show them what you do. Show them you can help. And this direct mail piece obviously has to be great. When I was in Reno, I attended my friend Mike Marshev's session. He did a morning marketing session. And he said that really those emails you get that are junk are really not junk. You should read them and study them. The direct mail you get in your mailbox is really not junk. You're in business, my friends. This goes for all entrepreneurs. Study that, because more than likely that business probably paid someone a lot of money to get creative and create a piece, because they know that when you open that, it's going to be seconds before you decide if it goes in the trash or if you're going to keep it on your desk and think about it. Let me see, I'm going to reach around here. Hold on there. I get this from American Express. Every other week I get stuff from American Express. And look, it's on my desk. It's unopened. It's unopened because I'm thinking about it, because they keep hitting me with it. Right, Will? Hit them with it. And I will learn from the words they use, from the layouts they're using in email. Learn from what they're doing. And save them so you can go back and reference when it comes time for you to do. But I'm a big believer in direct mail. Who's on right now that's using direct mail? I think it's an opportunity, especially when don't sell something with a price point, man. I'm telling you, you got to sell yourself. You're the expert. You're the pro. You're the leader. And try to be as specific as possible what you're going to be talking about at your event, right, Will? Because you're going to do a local event somewhere, and it's an invitation. Or do a webinar. Have a conference call. Do something easy, but give back. Be generous. Be generous. Remember, I offered you guys, you want the group viability test for our visitors, send me an email. Send me a text. Nobody texted me, by the way. I got it right here for my countdown clock. Yvonne, hello, Yvonne. I contacted Square and spoke to them asking specifically if they work with travel industry. They said yes. I am now using them to charge service fees, and it's working. Great. Friends, listen up. Beep, 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 beep. This just in. This just in. Yvonne contacted Square on our behalf and spoke to them asking specifically if they work with travel industry. They said yes. I am now using them to charge service fees, and it's working great. Capital Great. Yvonne, congratulations, and thank you for sharing. Lena, do you have a formula to determine whether a group is worth it or not? Well, the formula is the group viability test. That's the formula, because that's going to ask questions. How are you going to reach them? Is the group leader truly going to be committed to seeing it be successful? How vested will they be? Will the reach be easy? Do they have a database of people? Is the affinity strong enough? It's all about the affinity. So group vibe. The other formula is math, is mathematical. It's mathematical. And in boot camp, you've got that Excel spreadsheet. So whether you know how to use Excel on your own or not, you got to look at what's the downside, what's the upside. What do you think the minimum here take is going to be? You're going to make enough money. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Honestly, you need to do the group viability test first and then the Excel spreadsheet, because one without the other is not enough. Okay, you can't have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich which is peanut butter. I mean, maybe you can, but be like that. Jada says, is Dawn working with a host or consortia? I had the same problem. In addition to the seller of travel laws, I took it to my host, and the solution was that the host will run the payments. So there's Gina's solution. See, so everyone's got you may have your own opportunity, especially if you're a host that has a merchant account. Thank you, Gina, for sharing that. Let's keep going here. Patty says, I can agree with that sentiment. That group isn't worth my time financially, but it did get me to finally finish my ACC, right, your accreditation, accredited crew counselor, so that that was worth more to me than the commission. Got some repeats out of it too, so hopeful for better bookings in the future. As far as doing bookings like this ever again, heck no! So here's what Patty said. Patty took a step back and she said, you know what, I'm not gonna look at this from a micro perspective. I'm going to look at holistically, what's the total value proposition to me in my business? So sometimes you say yes to a piece of business that you may not love. Of course, you don't want to be losing money. You don't want it to destroy your whole business. Of course not. Sensible. But when push comes to shove and you're on that fence, get shoved over to the side of doing it, because if you look at the total value proposition to your whole business, that could add value, because this helped you, Patty, get your ACC, your accreditation. This helped you have more testimonials. This helped you do more business with the supplier. It added up. So that's great, Patty. Thank you so much for sharing. Lena says, I've decided to try to team up with a group of other travel agents who specialize in things that I don't do. That way I don't have to pass up business. I can refer. Not sure if I should set up with a referral fee. Hey, listen, everybody, if you don't already do this, do it tomorrow. Go to your friends, find people who don't do what you do, who do things that you don't do, where you can work together, make up a little agreement, a little draft here, whether you guys share fees and stuff. I think you may want to. You may want to share fees. I think so. And, you know, like a finder's fee, or referral fee, work it out, talk to other agents who are already doing this. I know a lot of agents who are already doing this. And therefore, when you get a call for a piece of business, right, Lena, that you don't love, it's not in your love circle, you know who's going to take it, who's going to do a great job, and you're going to tell that customer, hey, listen, it's great to hear your voice. I love you. I'm so happy you called me. And I got my guy Jack here. Jack is the expert in all-inclusives in Jamaica. My focus these days is now on cruises and river cruises, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. But here's the deal. Jack and I, we're kind of partners. You're really not. But Jack's going to take care of you, and I'm going to watch every step of the way. Now, with your permission, I want to get the three of us. Let's set up a three-way call, because I want to make sure Jack knows that you eat a gluten-free diet. I want to make sure Jack knows that you're an adventurer, that you like to do skydiving. And I want to make sure that Jack knows that it's your anniversary celebration, and I know you guys going way back, all right? You don't get their buy-off, but do it. Great. You never want to say no. Say yes, and figure out how you can get it done with a friend. Gina says, do you have a local bowling alley that has a meeting room that gives you additional exposure? Thank you, Gina. And that's another way how to get space. Remember, look at the local businesses in your area, because if you want to build your business with local clients, they're probably going to the same other local businesses, so it's easy for them to get to. Thank you. Dawn says, Lena, look for groups that want speakers and showcases like ABWA chapters, American Businesswomen Association. ABWA, never heard of it before. I don't think I could become a member. American Businesswomen Association. Thank you, Dawn. Dawn says she loves the retailer spin. Cool. Levon says, hey, what do you think of to give presentations in a travel luggage store? I love it. I mean, you can't think of a better match than that. And you know what? Wouldn't it be great, Yvonne, and you may be ahead of me on this, have the proprietor give amazing packing tips, amazing packing strategies, and give out a free or whatever. You buy it with a little logo, one of those scales to make sure it's not 50 pounds. I love it. It's terrific. Have an event at a luggage store. Judy, hey Judy, says banks have some meeting rooms. Yes, banks, great idea, banks. I went to an event once before I moved here in New York, and the event was at a bank floor. It was great. Mershon says joint ventures are amazing. You bet. JV all the way, strategic partnerships, whether you call it SP or JV, it's the way to go because 1 + 1 = 3. When you join forces with somebody else and something else. Jenny says students. Jenny, thank you, Jenny. She this is a warning. Don't work with student groups. Now, there are organizations that specialize in student groups, but I agree. They're very difficult. Now, some of you may have had no problems, but some of you may have had. Appreciate that, Jenny. Yvonne said, I tried contact the luggage store, but contact the owner was not easy. Any tips getting through the door? Yeah, go into boot camp, go in the Experts Library. I think if you scroll down, I added something that will help you get in the door. There's 5 ways to get in the door. 5 ways to get in the door. Let's see if I can remember them because this is something I teach. Because you don't want to sell them anything because nobody wants to be sold to. They're being sold to all day, every day. All you want. Let me just give you this. Go look for that document, okay? But all you want to do is ask for the 15-minute meeting. A 15-minute. Hey, you own a local business. I own a local business. Can I come into your shop or can we meet for coffee? I want to learn about your business. So don't make it about you, make it about them. That's how you get in the door. And it could be a series of meetings. And when you ask, because you want to uncover their problem is they want more business. They want more, they want to get new clients. Of course they do, and so do you. And say, listen, I have a great idea. I need a space. You need more clients. I'll bring my people in. You bring your people in. You talk about your luggage. I talk about travel. We help the people. We're not going to sell anything. If they buy something, great. But remember, you want to build your list. You want to be generous. Uh-oh. I guess we almost lost me, but I'm back. I'm back. Woohoo! Lena says, when working with Pied Piper, do you promote the group or should the Pied Piper do all that? For my previous groups, I've worked very hard to promote the trip. Not sure if the Pied Piper also get paid. Oh, wow. This is a huge subject, Lena. I do not have time for this right now. Oh, my gosh. But there's a lot of this on boot camp. And the Pied Piper, let's just call him the group leader, that's part of the group agreement letter. But you really, the group leader, you really need them. Yes. You need them to be the social butterfly, to tell everybody they're going, to use testimonials, to be active, to be involved, to be engaged. Because if you become the heavy, the only person who's going to be promoting it and marketing it, then it could be trouble. So I'm going to give you what could be a very long answer, very short, concise. The Pied Piper group leader has to be very deeply involved, or just use their picture, their likeness, a video clip, a testimonial saying they're going to do it, and they should give you access to their whole database of people. And frankly, maybe that Pied Piper group leader may not be the right person, Lena, because you want to get, if they're not the influencer, if they're not going to want to do any selling or talking about it, it's not selling. They don't have to sell. They just have to talk about it. Okay? Then you want to find somebody else in your organization who is the bigger influencer. Who's the bigger influencer? Who would love to do this. They're the yappers, the talkers, like me. And they want friends and family to go. Should they get paid? I don't know. You tell me. That's when you play great detective and you figure out what's going to push their buttons, what's going to get them excited, what do they need. Sometimes a group leader or Pied Piper, they don't want a free cabin. I warn you this. I warn you this. Look at me. Don't be giving away the freebie because 9 out of 10 times they don't want it, they don't need it. But once you offer it, it's done. then you got to layer an incentive on top of that. And you're already in the hole and it becomes quicksand. Sometimes the organization will pay for their trip. They don't need it. Sometimes they're wealthy. They don't need it. Find out what they really want, what they really need, which could be different every time with every group leader you work with. Hello, Molly. Molly says, make sure those rainmaker types are allowed to promote a travel group. I know a case where a chef wanted to lead a tour bus, but his corporate backers wouldn't let him promote the trip in his restaurant. Yeah, I get it. Molly, way to go. Now we're going back to that, the dangerous groups, the high-risk groups. Sometimes the chef is like, yeah, I want to lead a tour, but his corporate backers, he couldn't. So before you sign anything, before you get into it, make sure that they can do what they promise they can do. And that's where that group agreement letter comes in, which is in boot camp. Okay. Dawn, Dawn, you had a different spin on that question about travel types. We're going to handle that at the next Ask Stuart Hour because we're running out of time. I want to finish the list here. I got 4 minutes left. Excuse me. Let me see. Gene, what's the best approach to asking a potential client if I can add them to my client list? What tips can I use to have them say yes, or from free mailing stuff? How do you get them on your list? You know what? Here's what you do. When you find out what it is they're interested in, Gene, and you know that you have that information, you have that knowledge, say, I'll tell you what. Let me send you. I have a one-page, a hot sheet on packing. I have a one-page. I have a hot sheet on Caribbean cruising. Whatever it is it okay if you give me your email address? I'd be happy to send this to you. And every once in a while, once a month or so, I send out stuff like this, free stuff. It's my pleasure to share. Can I share this with you? That's how you get them on the list. I wouldn't be bold and use those words, and I'm not sure that's what you're insinuating, Gene. I wouldn't be bold and use those words, can I put you on my list? You want to say, hey, is it okay if I send you this every once in a while? So that's why when you have a database of people, you don't want to send everybody the same thing. Try to identify, isolate it. That's CRM, friends. That's customer relationship management. You're going to have different lists. Look, if you're having a big event, you want to invite everybody, that's one thing. But if somebody wants river cruise stuff and, there's only 22% of your list who have any interest in river cruise, the other people don't. Then don't waste. They're going to opt out. They're going to unsubscribe. Send them what they want. Send them what they need. Ask permission. It's permission marketing. Thank you, Seth Godin. Can I send you this? And every once in a while, I come out with more stuff. Is that okay? Sure. And they can unsubscribe if they don't want it. Jan says, I get that too, and it goes in the dumpster. Right, we're talking about the junk mail, but studied it. Let me see here. Gina, direct mail with a targeted list is the preference. And there's no follow-up. We're coming now on Will on your opportunity to go with that big mass mailing. Let's see. Mershon, the trick, if you will, with Square is if you are charging service fees, they will allow you to do what you need to do. If they get a complaint from someone that you charge for actual travel, they will have an issue. Did you hear that? If you're charging for actual travel, they have an issue, but if it's for a service fee, you're okay. So that's interesting. Let's complete that picture if that's you find out. Lena says PayPal versus Square, pros and cons. I've never used Square. Lena, I'm going to buzz through these things. I know we're running out of time. I promise we're going to end in 60 seconds. I've been very happy with PayPal. You don't need to have a PayPal account to use PayPal. They can use any credit card. I guess the same as with Square. Let's see here. Gene says, it was awesome. That you bet. Yeah, absolutely. Share with me. Thank you, Dawn. We're rolling up. Tell Yvonne to make sure she knows that the thresholds for transactions with Square, so everybody do your due diligence. Hey, share this stuff in the Facebook bootcamp. This is good stuff. Everybody's talking about this here with Square and PayPal and the terms and the deals. Share it in the private bootcamp. Judy says, last question, what happens if there's no group leader, just a group for seniors to develop group viability in this type of group? Well, is there still an influencer? And I'll leave you with this. Could you be the group leader, especially if you can go? If you are going, then there's a sense of safety and that you, the pro, are going to be going and you're going to take care of them. So you can be the group leader, but you still want the social butterflies, the high influencers to be a part of it. They don't have to know that you're considering them group leaders, but you can. That's all we have time for today, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's Ask Stuart Hour. I am grateful for the time you've given me. I wish you Happy sales.